So, Cory Michelle, energetic mastery coach, thank you so much for being with me today. I have been not just a fan, a customer, repeated customer over the last 5 or 6 years and have felt my own life shift as a result of that. Most markedly during your money programs. I've taken 3 or 4 of them, and every time they have blown my mind. So while we're talking about, this past week, been talking all about the more the cerebral side of money and what strategies and that type of thing, even going into stock trading, right? There is another level of opening up to receiving that you have mastery of by teaching other people how to master their own energy. And I want to talk more about that because the way you do it is so unique and it is so joyful and freeing that, everybody should know about it. Hey Ralph, how you doing? Before I ask let Cory introduce herself, I just want to introduce you to Cory. Cory has been a mentor and a leader of mine for a long time. I've benefited greatly from her programs, and she's all about energetic mastery. So Ralph is an introvert that teaches leadership, and also he kind of is transitioning out of the military and looking to doing a online resume writing service specifically for people who are looking for government jobs, because he's ascended through the enlisted ranks as far up as he can go, so he knows how to open up the door for the next level. So that's Ralph. Cory, introduce yourself, let him know all about you.
All about me. All
Oh
right.
my.
How long do we have? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, so I love energetic mastery. I love the integrity of energy. And I discovered, oh God, I think I consciously discovered probably about 8 or so, maybe 10 years ago, that I was uh, intuitively aware of incongruencies in energy. But if I go back, I remember being intuitively aware of where incongruencies were. So I could tell when somebody was going to lie, if somebody was hiding something, not to trust somebody. And I was always accurate. 99% of the time I was accurate when I was working with people and situations and stuff like that. And so it seems so natural that I work with energetic mastery now to
Mm-hmm.
create
Right on
life.
target.
Never would have thought I would have been doing this, but it now seems very natural and easy, because one of the things that I've become really good at is noticing, okay, so when somebody is making choices in life, whether it's with money or anything else, you go, is that choice where they're coming from congruent in energetic harmony with their essence, right? With who they really are, with the highest timeline that they have access to. And so that's where I coach from, is this space of helping people go, okay, is this actually in tune with me, or am I choosing based on something else? Am I guided by something outside of myself, or am I guided from within? So that's a little bit about what I do. I live in Australia. I'm a US. I'm an American, but I live in Australia. I create a lot of magic in my life. I don't
Yes,
live
you do.
normally like other people. I say other people. I just live my own way, and that really works for me.
So that's wonderful. Ralph, did you've come pretty much every day with a question in mind ready to ask. So I would just want to acknowledge that about you and thank you so much for being here every day along. Um, what question do you have for Cory today? Get us started.
Well, I guess I'm trying to what do you call, like, up to the enlisted ranks, right? They People always doubted me because I was quiet. Um, I've never. They always say you gotta show yourself out there. You gotta be out there, and I said no, that's not me. Um, how would you? How would, like, I transfer that to my kids? Like, how would I teach them that, hey, I made it this way, um, and you don't have to listen to what people say if you're not that type of person.
That's such a great question. That is a really good question. I think this goes for anybody, and teaching kids how to do this is really really cool. But when when you can tap into exactly what it sounds like you've tapped into, which is your own um, uh, brilliance, really, that maybe doesn't look like other people's brilliance, your own expression, then there's power there, no matter what it looks like. And it sounds like that's what you've gained access to and have acknowledged in your world. And teaching kids that who they are is perfect as they are, and there's room to expand and grow in those spaces that feel challenging but also naturally challenging, not like faking it till you make it, or
Right.
fake it till you make it just doesn't work. I mean, it might work for some people, it just never worked for me. um, and it also takes us in out of who we are isn't okay. And but you also have like shyness as a conditioning, right? Because sometimes what happens is, like for me, I'm actually an introvert, though everybody thinks I'm an extrovert. But I'm very good online with a lot of people, but I love being alone and having time to myself and not having anybody around, right? And so, but when I was young, I had some stuff happen that I was during my teens and early 20s. I was very shy, but the shyness wasn't natural for me. It was a hiding. So I think that's where we've got to look to see where's the natural sort of, when somebody feels comfortable in their environment, how are they being? And then how are they being in other situations? Right. And then going, okay, so is there any conditioning there as well? Or is this a natural expression? Is a kid naturally quiet? Is a kid naturally exuberant and then goes out and be shy? And so facilitating what is more their natural capacity versus any conditioned capacity could be really, really empowering as well. Does that
Okay.
help?
Yeah, it's just like my daughter. She's really shy, but she steps on the basketball court, and then you're like, this is a different girl. And I guess what I'm so afraid to send them to college because of the statistics of where they graduate out of college, they're in debt and they can't find a job. I want to teach them how to like make their money work for them, and teach them early that maybe starting a business might be a better option, because you know the school is always going to be there, but if you start your business and you can educate, that's another type of education, right? That's what a lot of school administrations don't understand, that um, entrepreneur business, when you're learning from a mentor, is a part is a type of education.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm right there with you. My partner's kids are getting to that age where they're 14, 12, and the youngest one is 7. But the 14 and 12-year-old, I'm like, start having entrepreneur conversations, because Ben's an
Yeah.
entrepreneur and so am I. And so they're surrounded by that. And the way where each of us is designed is so unique, where some people will really thrive in more of a say corporate or like school linear, I'll call it more linear sort of environment. And other people will thrive more in a entrepreneur sort of environment. And we were just discussing this for one of his kids. He's like, I really think that she's going to thrive more in more the linear, like that's where like she doesn't have sort of some of the things that entrepreneurs, like the way the mind thinks.
Mhm.
She naturally isn't thinking those ways right now, and not to say that she won't ever, but at this moment. And so it's like, does the child have sort of out of the box thinking? Is the child interested in doing things their way? Do they not like a boss? Like, do they not like teachers and authority? That's like, I think the number one trait
Yeah,
of
yeah.
of
I was
all entrepreneurs is we don't like authority, and we don't want to be told what to do. We want to do what we do. We want freedom, basically. Are they freedom oriented? So there's some personality tests, I think, that, and also some other sort of ways to to just sort of see, like, from the external, like not even talking to the child, but from the external, to say, hey, where are they positioned at this moment? But then also having conversations of what do they want their life to be like, right? And really exploring. Have you explored those kind of conversations?
Well, the only type of conversation I had with my kids was like, if there's opportunity for you at 18, and just, I mean, she loves basketball, and I told her, if you have a chance to go play overseas and go make money to do what you love, go. And I told her that this education is always going to be there if you always want to go back to school, right? And as a veteran, we do have benefits for our kids to go to school tuition free in the state of California if we stay here. So, but
If I can jump in on that with a little bit of life experience, my daughter, my younger daughter, um, first of all, let me couch it with this. Create a safe space that they can tell you what's in their heart and know that you'll listen to it, right? Because it was a little challenging for her when she came to me after her first year of private college, to say, I'm $8,000 in debt. I really don't want to go further in debt, to get this degree. The thing that really makes my heart sing is a 9-month vocational tech course. And I really don't want to create all this debt. And my heart was broken because it was like, no, my girls, they got to finish school, they got to go to college, all of that, right? And it was a little hard for her to tell me that, but she did. And I look back now and go, wow, she really had a lot of courage and she nailed it. She, right now, and she didn't necessarily go into that vocational technical course, but this is a girl that had her own lemonade stand when she was 8 years old. By the end of the summer, she had hired two other kids to take shifts so that she could go play and made a profit of like $60 after everything. Like the end of summer, this is what she had in hand from all of it. I mean, so she's a natural business owner. She and her husband have a six-figure business as I speak. So you've got to let them tell you where their heart is and have that space for them to do it safely and for you to listen to them and go, okay, if school is what your jam is, then go to school. If it's not, let's find out what is.
Yeah, that's such great advice.
yeah, that's kind of like where I like me and my wife we have totally different philosophy. She has two bachelor's degrees, right? I have like four associates. I went to trade school. And a lot of the associates I got were from the military. And for me, it's like, be a good person and learn how to earn your money and take responsibility for all of your failures.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told my son, he he's a black belt in Taekwondo now, but through the ranks he failed twice. And I said, whose fault is it? And he said, it's my fault, Dad. I said, why? Because I didn't practice. So okay. In life, learn about failures, and this is how you come back from it. Now he's a black belt because he came back stronger from it. I mean, is that the right way to teach them accountability? Because I don't want to, I don't want him to lose his self confidence.
It sounds like that was a great motivation for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
accountability is different from blame. And with accountability, kids can learn how to take responsibility because it doesn't hurt like blame. So I think you handled it absolutely properly, the most powerful way that you could. Just why didn't you do it? Take a look at it, um, and, spotlight what it is that you could do better on, and then go back and try again doing better that time. And obviously did if he got the black belt. So um, no, I think a couple of the things that you were just alluding to in all of that is that you are raising your kids with integrity and accountability, and that's what creates, like, you is your little niche. Sorry, I don't mean that to sound demeaning, but your tight niche. um, you know the the leadership, the unassuming leadership. I mean, what is integrity? Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. How much more
Exactly.
introverted and under the radar can you get? I would love for you, the two of you, to connect on that introverted level because Ralph has been doing some YouTube videos on introverts in leadership and how to basically get the job done without bells and whistles, and fanfare and a
Mm.
marching band about it. So I think that you would have some great insights in that little world, because even in your marketing, Cory, you're not bells and whistles, and it's very elegant and efficient, and it gets the point across, and it transfers an emotional energy that I just think Ralph would benefit from.
Oh, thank you. The other thing I would add, like if you're when you're working with anybody, whether it's marketing, kids, partners, anything like that, where you're trying to facilitate maybe a more open, off the beaten path conversation, is questions of really, inquiring from an open-minded space of going, oh, well, hey, what are you looking at? Like, what do you see? What would you like your life to be about? And I know when they're teenagers, they might not know too much, right? Like sometimes, like, I don't know. What are you talking about? I'm going to school tomorrow, right? That's very short-sighted. But sometimes you can really start opening those doorways with them. So those truly open-ended questions open up their own awareness to what could be possible, even if they can't answer that question in the moment. I know that with Ben's kids, that's because there's two of them that are very introverted, and they have a hard time connecting sometimes their brain to their speech, right? So they say, I don't know a lot. So, but I know that it starts to open things up because they'll say things later, right? So even posing the question, but the key as a parent or as somebody asking those questions is to not have an agenda, right?
Mm.
And so even that agenda of, oh, I'm a little afraid that they might go to college and then get into debt and that whole thing, is like, if you come off of that and allow them, like really go, okay, so they're going to have their own life experience and they're going to choose whatever they're going to choose. And I think in my personal perspective, one of the greatest things you can do for somebody is really ask them open-ended questions, not have an agenda about their path, and also be there for them when they have questions or when they fall, but also when they succeed, right? Of going, okay, they gotta trust themselves. And if they can trust themselves and their own choices and their awareness and feel really good about that, no matter what they choose, they're gonna be really powerful adults, however that turns
Wow.
out.
Yeah, I definitely want them to have life experiences, but I don't want to be that helicopter parent.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I
But
totally get it. And it's interesting too, because like even I love the energy of curiosity of like, I wonder where this kid is functioning from. I wonder what's really going to make their heart sing. I wonder what choices they can make that'll really have them feel empowered, right? And put them in really great positions. Like even you posing that question and being, because it's an energy that you be, and when you're being curiosity, like I say, being curious, it sounds kind of weird. It's not grammatically correct, but when you're being curious, there's an energy that you're exuding that is really like, it's like a sparks more awarenesses. And when you be that about them, then it invites them to as well. So, and it's a very back and forth, like Gayle was saying, of like her daughter being able to come to her, opens up the doorways to that sort of stuff too. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what they choose. And yeah.
well, she like the resume writing thing, right? And she sees me doing it, helping people, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "It's my side hustle, right? Besides my 9 to 5, right?" And she goes, "I want a side hustle." So it's like you know, I'm hoping I'm leading by example. But um, what kind of advice would you have for, like, I know resume writing, and it's a special uh, way of writing with federal resumes compared to private sector resumes. And so far, I've been successful helping people getting into the federal employment. Um, I guess what kind of advice would you have for me to just keep going? I know you said no back door, right? Don't give yourself a back door, right? I saw that video, and
Yeah.
like besides not giving yourself a back door, what else? What other advice can you give for me to keep going into pursuing my projects?
Well, I guess what I would like to know is there anywhere that you either get distracted or unmotivated?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe just people, but the people around me has been pretty supportive of me doing this resume thing. Um, I guess not really a distraction, but the busy life of having a 9 to 5 and then helping to take care of the family, and then I gotta do this late at night. So how do I keep myself going? How do I keep myself motivated? Because I know sometimes you get tired from your 9 to 5, and then you gotta come home, take care of your family, and then I gotta like, okay, I promised these guys I would get this stuff done.
Yeah. And so just tell me real quick, how is it set up? So do you have a website that's
I don't
marketing
have a
the
I don't have a website
referral?
yet. Everything's word of mouth right now. I'm trying to build my website, but I got advice that I should do it on LinkedIn instead of Facebook
Oh,
For
because
his
LinkedIn.
marketing, his
oh,
market
100%.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Ralph, but yeah.
No, you're fine. But I do have I have different, just a page of different prices, done for you and done with you type
Mm-hmm.
of prices. So I'm
Okay,
just
cool.
wondering, yeah.
And how long does it take you to write a resume?
So my process is they'll give me what they have, right? So some are weaker than others, and what I do is I adjust it to make their skill sets show up front. Because I've talked to a lot of resume readers, and they said they don't care about the design, the graphics, or that. They just want to see the skill sets up front, and that's how I write their resume. That way, it showcases their skill sets and not get distracted by all the other things. So
Yeah.
that's my process.
Cool. That's really cool. I like what you're doing there. Okay, so here's a couple of things to look at now, and you might have already looked at these, but this is what I would look at. You have something really great. You're helping people. It makes you feel good?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So those are all like pre-qualifiers in my world, at least. Are those there? Okay. And it's working. So you've got a proven method. Okay. So there's sort of two things that I would look at that could assist you. Now, first of all, are you looking at getting out of your main 9 to 5?
That's the ultimate goal.
Ultimate goal. Okay, just making sure. Okay, so do you know how much you need to be making in your resume business to get out? Have you decided what that is? Like how much you need to make over here?
Not yet. So,
Okay. So you need to set a target there, a goal or a target there. So going, okay, so what is that? And it might not just be per month, but it might be we need to have this much in savings, or we've like whatever that is, whatever you want to decide that feels good for you and your wife. That's one thing, because if you don't have a target, then you'll just be side hustling and working
Yeah, hamster wheel
all
in
the
it.
time.
Yeah.
So if you have that target, then it sounds like to me you're more of a target or goal oriented person. Is that right?
for the most part, I guess. I don't,
Like if you set a goal for yourself, will you do whatever it takes to hit it?
yeah, I guess so. Because making Chief Master Sergeant in the Air Force is only 1% gets to wear that stripe of the whole Guard, Reserve, active duty. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. So I would say yes to
yeah,
that for sure. Okay. So we can just acknowledge you're a badass goal hitter. Excuse my language there. You're awesome. Okay, so that's number one. So set a goal that feels really good for you. Okay, and that feeling really good for you is like feels like okay, yeah, we can go for that, right? So that's number one. And number two is looking at. It sounds like I see two different pathways right now for your business. One is the what you're doing, which is the actual work, which would be the high level work. I don't know what you're charging yet. I don't need to know right now, but I would bet it could go up. Um, and then it sounds like because you have a process, you could create an online course for people to go through so they could do a done for you that you could set up with some marketing funnels to create some passive income where people just go through that. They get exactly what they need, how to set it up. Maybe you teach them all the elements that you're doing, teach them what you're looking for, how to position it. And then you do like a few case studies where you're like, here's how I rearrange this one. And you just do a live, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm thinking, and do a few of those. Boom, there's a nice little, package for people that maybe can't afford the done for you sort of package. Have you thought about that yet?
It's funny you say that because one of my YouTube videos, I took it down because I think I gave away too much information on it. And one question was, how do you leverage your Garter Reserve duties? Because Garter Reserve, it's like 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year, right? But they wanted to leverage their skill sets with their military skill sets on a federal resume, and I showed how to do that in the video. I have the video on my computer, but I was like, I need to take this down because I think I'm giving away too much on this video. Especially if I want to start doing that as a business.
What occurs to me though is that would make actually kind of a very interesting lead magnet where you give me your email address and I will show you right here, right now, one secret exactly how to do it to better your federal resume.
Yeah,
That's a
so
great
the
idea.
whole video, I should go into USA Jobs. I showed them just a real simple one, like, okay, here's your duties and responsibilities. Now here's how you add these words to make sense into your resume and not make it transition, make it flow. Then being it real, what's that word? Uh, I don't know that word. Where stop and go, stop and go. I don't.
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of stuck for it too. But we get what you mean.
Yeah,
Like it's easy to read, it flows,
yeah.
as opposed to being stilted of some sort. Um, yeah, but definitely, I think that would go really well.
Okay.
I
Because
totally agree with that. Even like people love checklists. They love like so if there's like a hey, these are the things you want to have on your thing, do a download checklist. And then maybe there's an upsell from that download and say, hey, do you want me to actually show you how exactly to go through this? Here's my mini course or here's my full course, whatever it is. And this is what I've got. So you have that sort of funnel that has people go, oh yeah, this is exactly me. I need this checklist. And look, there's your course right there. And you could even say, hey, do you want me to do this for you? Do you not have time? Do you not, like, because there's a lot of people out there who just like me, I'd be like, just take it. Just do it for me.
Right.
But first I'd probably buy the course and go, oh, let me try to do this on my own. And then I'd go, you could probably do it way better. Here you go.
yeah, it's
You can give a special I give up discount, $50 off on do it for them if they already bought the course.
Yeah.
yeah. Because I guess when they were like, how you gonna help her out? She was a stay-at-home mom for like 2 years, right? And I still wrote something that was relatable to she dealt with complex budget. I said, did you deal with stuff like that? So there's always ways around writing stuff when they don't, like the stay-at-home mom. There's everything. There's a lot that goes as stay-at-home mom, budgeting,
Domestic
taking care of your
engineer.
kids. Yeah.
Totally.
So
Totally. So that's what I would really look at is how do you want to position so that you can make more money with less time?
Okay, I guess it's amazing because it seems like I already have everything I need. I just need to go put
Yeah.
it out there.
I think that's what it sounds like is just like an organization of, hey, what is the thing that people are looking for that with this resume writing, like what do they want and what do they need, right? So what do they want is probably what they're looking for. What do they actually need, right? Is what you want to like give them and position it that way to go, hey, are you this person looking to do this? You're going to need to do this. I'll show you how.
Okay, and I think that's the video I took down from my YouTube channel.
Perfect. See, you're already there. Brilliant. Brilliant, Ralph. I love
Yeah,
it. I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. Yeah, you definitely intuitively pushed away that, and so we're gonna have to go in there and if you want my help with it, I'm more than happy to help you. But putting together a lead magnet, if you will, to start building your list of people who maybe are considering getting a federal government job and might use a resume reader or writer down the road. So and start building that list that you can market to. I think you've got the perfect video already prepared and you did it intuitively and didn't even know it.
Yeah, no, just it was a YouTuber that I was mentoring because he joined the military after 30, and he just asked me to, hey, can you, since you're mentoring me with the federal process and the military process, can you come into my group, joining the military after 30 and help mentor these guys with any questions they have. So I said, yeah, I'll be glad to. Um, but yeah, those guys are
Mm-hmm.
like, holy crap, these guys still want to serve their country at 30 and near 40 years old. It's, to me, that's amazing.
Oh, that's really
Because
cool.
a lot of these 18, 17-year-olds just take it for granted sometimes, not realizing that it's a bigger purpose than yourself when you join the military.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you about, like, I'm also doing a like an ebook, like Gail said, like an unassuming leadership. What would your advice? I did put my experiences in there where I was always overlooked because this baby face. I'm 43, so imagine at 21 as a staff sergeant, and
Mm-hmm.
I look like a teenager. But what would your advice or tips would I put in that ebook from your point of view?
Mm. I would use your personal, like you just said it, your personal experience and your stories really built out. So going, here's where I was coming from, and here's what I faced, and get into really, I want to say your emotions, but the actual experience it was for you. So was there ever a time that you were insecure about that, or you were faced with people who didn't believe in you, and how did that make you feel, right? And how did you step into that anyway of being this, leader and doing it differently? And did you try to do different things that didn't really work for you? Because I think that's like probably one of the biggest things with, if you're even just looking at the basic concept of extrovert and introvert and those sort of leadership styles, is you're going to get into, it's actually either going to be working for you or it's not going to work for you. And you got to know when to stop when it's not working for you, right? Instead of keep pushing, thinking that you need to do more of it or you're doing it wrong or something like that. You know what I mean? So your experience and how you did it is going to be really valuable.
Okay.
So, and it sounds like that's sort of what is that what you've already done?
Yeah,
Or look,
I've just showed like how, um one example, when I hit the civilian sector, I was a defense contractor, and this guy had I had more experience than our lead, but then my boss took me to the side and said, hey, if you can prove to me that you can lead these guys, then I'm gonna take care of you. And I ended up being the lead for that group. So, um I guess with that, um, my my boss, he gave me the opportunity. So every time there was an opportunity, I always took advantage of it.
Mhm.
But I'm just wondering, like, how can I translate that to other introverts? Like, how can I know I'm showing the examples, but I'm not the greatest speaker. I don't. I hated public speaking. I was always behind the scenes making my troops shine. And even when I put on that strap, they put me on the stage, and I'm like, I am not comfortable up here. So
Yeah.
how do I how do I transfer that message to, like, hey, no matter what, you can still be successful being
I think you
introverted.
just I think you just did. You did
I
it
did.
even though you were uncomfortable. You did it even though it wasn't your sweet spot. You did it even though I think is probably your message of like when the opportunities presented, I showed up, right? And when you can tell your stories from a relatable perspective, that's really powerful. So that might be an area to grow in with your storytelling, um, with the relatableness, um, whatever that is, of like really your experience. And sometimes what helps is when somebody's asking you questions. So if you have somebody that is going, okay, well, tell me more about that. And then what happened there? And then how did you feel? And then what was that like? And I know sometimes men aren't really into their feelings, but if
No.
there was anything coming up, like, were you nervous? Were you unsure of yourself? You're like sweating bullets, but you did it anyway. Like even those sorts of things, right?
Yeah.
So I guess how do you, like, how'd you get over the self-doubt is what I'm
Well,
trying to get at.
You
how do
don't.
you get over self doubt?
You
Sounds
just
like you've done a whole bunch of
Yeah.
that.
See, I think that this goes back to what we were talking about the other day, where we defined being an introvert does not equal coward.
yeah.
Remember, because it took courage for you to take advantage of every opportunity that was presented to you. And courage specifically is feeling fearful and taking action anyway. So, I mean, there's your definitions right there. There's where you've got to come from your for your message to get across. And if you want to try to dissect and define how to be courage, good luck. I'm supportive 100%. As soon as you figure it out, let me know. But there's just a moment where you go, fuck it, and take a step.
Right.
No? So, and here's the thing, my friend, you are intuitively doing all of the right things and then turning around and looking at it as if it's backwards and you don't know what it means.
Yeah. I guess that's right.
So just keep doing the next right thing. Keep opening your mouth and letting the right words fall out and showing up. And trust me, the right people are going to hear what you have to say. You just got to put it out there, put the shingle out.
Yeah, I'm doing my best, and I like what Cory said about um getting rid of the negative people around you that don't support you. That just helped me get through everything that I went through. I mean, people said, "Nah, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're done." But I really love that advice in your video, and I'm
Oh,
trying to teach my kids that.
I'm happy that that was a contribution. I'm happy that was a contribution. It's interesting because I think okay. So how I see life in general is that we're always going through waves of expansion and transformation into that next version of us. And so doubt is naturally going to come up whenever we're coming into the new. So you're in a big transition of going, oh, I'm going this way. It's kind of life's taking me that way. Who am I going to be as this next version of me? And doubt comes up because you maybe haven't been in this particular situation, scenario, configuration of life before. And what if like repositioning doubt as, ooh, there's something that's changing in my life. And I wonder how I wonder what there is for me to now sort of be or embody or take on as a challenge or something like that. I'm trying to maybe use words that you might use, of going, like your daughter going to new basketball things that she's like, yeah, bring it on. But the first time she went on the court, she probably wasn't like that, right? And the first time we do things, it's new, and then sometimes it's doubt that shows up, but it's just showing you that it's new and uncomfortable and unfamiliar, not necessarily that it means anything. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful, only if you keep believing that it's there, right? And you keep going, oh, doubt's been there for 10 years and I still haven't done anything with it, Like, okay, time to get some help with that.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
Yeah, it's like it's like exactly what you said, Ralph, that taking the opportunities when they show up, you've got an opportunity in front of you, and you've been, like Gayle said, you've been taking those steps, and you pretty much have everything in front of you. It's now just going, okay, well, this is what I got. Here you go, world. Let's see if it contributes to anybody.
Okay. Yeah, I just realized that now. Everything's in front of me.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, like Gayle said, you're very intuitive creator, and that it shows a level of awareness and self-awareness of what you've discovered about yourself, that you're good at, what you care about, that you are interested in a contribution, but you're also interested in a different sort of life. So, and in that transition, it's not always the easiest time. Oftentimes it's the hardest time of going, because I think the hardest thing for people is not what they're doing, it's who they're being. And if they keep being the old version of themselves, like, I'm the old version, I work a 9 to 5, I have a boss, I have, like, this is what I have. Who am I if I'm a full-time entrepreneur? Who am I as someone who makes way more money now in my side hustle, that's now my full-time gig, than I did in my 9 to 5? Like, who am I as that version of me versus the version of me who gets paid for my time?
Oh. I guess it's just that. I guess it's a good fear that, okay, I'm gonna venture into this and let me just take a chance, like I did everything else in my life. So
It sounds like that's a good path for you. Just take a chance. Let's just go for it.
awesome.
I like that.
Well, Ralph, do you have any final questions
No,
before we close out?
I really appreciate your time, Cory and Gayle. That you guys just made me realize that, holy crap, I have everything in front of me already. Just put it out there. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Most people do, and they don't see it, and they don't know how to put it all together and like that. And that's where, like, having a coach or a mentor or being on calls like this and really asking your questions, other people can mirror back to you, hey, you got this, like, look at all this stuff, and you just did a brilliant job in receiving that. And so I hope that contributes to you in having lots of success.
Thank you, Cory.
Thank you, Cory, so much for being part of this, and your support through the years, and your assistance with my own expansion. I will shout you from the highest rooftops, because you have made such a huge difference in my life. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's so great to hear that, and I'm so happy that that's the way it landed.
Right? Awesome. All right, well, take care, everyone who might be watching this on the replay. Thanks so much for joining us today, and we will see you again hopefully soon.
Bye, guys.